Whoa, whoa! Is it the game who's got the biggest Woody? Whoa! I think I like this one more. Let's see what's this story about. The movie opens up with a couple of kids playing football at a beach, and a particular girl named Viola Hastings seems to be dominating the pitch. The match ends with her boyfriend Justin praising her and telling her that she is better than most of the boys in his team, and she tells him that he is getting good at kissing. Good news for him. They laugh and they do a little smooching until the scene cuts to Viola and the girls' soccer team going for practice, only to notice that the lacrosse team is occupying their spot. It's revealed that the school has cut their team because not a lot of girls signed up for soccer. If a girl loves soccer, then she is probably a boy. She just didn't feel it yet. Anyway, they meet up with the boys' soccer team coach and ask to try out for the boys' soccer team. He is evidently amused and tells them they can't while they are joined by the rest of the boys' team. Viola asks Justin for his opinion, and he agrees and even denies the fact that he said she was better than the rest of the boys' soccer team. That's why, girls, you should never trust a simp. They will say anything to clap your cheeks. Hear it from me. Viola gets pissed and she breaks up with Justin right there. Viola goes home and she meets up with her twin brother Sebastian's girlfriend, Monique, who mistakes her for Sebastian due to the lack of curves in her body or excess curves in his brother's body. We'll see. Monique has a toxic relationship with Sebastian and Viola isn't happy about it. So Viola calls her a bitch. Viola enters the home and finds her mom waiting for her. She starts handing her a bunch of dresses and tells Viola that she wants her to be a debutante. Viola is like, nah, I cannot. My curves are not enough. I want to grow a stick too. Also, it's all about soccer for me. This girl, I think, got more testosterone than his boyfriend. Oh, here is her brother. Kinda looks same though, apart from his square nose and his stick in his pants. She talks to him about Monique. While he throws his bag out of the window, he tells her his band is going to London for the next 2 weeks, so he lies to his parents, who are divorced. His mom thinks he's staying with his dad thinks he's staying with his mom, and they both think he's going to new school called Illyria High School, whereas he's going to London to follow his dream. Classic boy stuff. Viola protests, but he's like, see ya, and jumps out of the window. And Viola's mom comes in and tells her that since she chooses to act like a boy, she might as well be one. And this really got into her. Viola looks in the mirror and has an epiphany. She tells her friends to give her a makeover and help her pretend to be a boy so she can act as her brother. She'll get into Illyria's soccer team and then play for them against the Cornwall, which is the theme of her school in 12 days. They agree and then they give her a makeover. She tries out a few mustaches and some wigs, and she even goes out to the street and starts mimicking men as they walk and the way they talk, as well as using clothes to wrap around her boobies to make her chest flatter like it wasn't flat before, which is despicable if you ask me. Absolutely despicable. She starts packing her stuff and carries a box of tampons. And then she meets up with her mom on her way out and lies to her that she's going to be staying at her dad's house, where Monique, Sebastian's problematic girlfriend, is going to be teaching her how to be a debutante. Her mom is excited of this news and reminds her that there's a carnival coming up and she should make sure Sebastian attends it too. Her friend drops her off at Illyria and she starts panicking. And they both start screaming. He finally manages to calm her down. Then she gives him a spit, her deep voice, and she's good to go to be a good boy. She proceeds into the high school and she's immediately greeted by all the male violence and rowdiness. Kind of funny how boys are different than girls. Absolute beast we are. She goes into Sebastian's dorm room and sees some guys and her Sebastian's roommate, Duke, Channing freaking Tatum. Wow, this movie is about to be a good one. Turns out Duke and the other guys are all on the soccer team and the tryouts are by noon that day. The group notices her box of tampons and Viola lies. She says she uses it as an absorbent when she gets nosebleeds, which is disgusting and funny. During the tryout, the coach sizes them up and has them undergo a set of drills. And Viola obviously doesn't do too well because, again, she's competing with the boys in an athletic drill. She ends up making second string, which she's sad about. And when she's asked to hit the showers, she's positively dreadful as she sees a bunch of naked dudes with their dicks hanging everywhere. While she attempts to get a little comfortable so as not to arouse suspicion, she gets called by the principal. Whew. We were close, dude, to witness a gang bang scene. In the principal's office, the principal is a pretty weird guy who's not very big on boundaries. He tells her that he used to be a transfer student, but he fell in love with this school and that he's going to be involved in her business. On her way out, she bumps into a girl named Olivia, who is cute, and she gets a little attracted to our fake Sebastian. Does that mean she's a lesbian? I think technically yes. In the cafeteria, Viola meets up with Duke and the gang, and Olivia walks into the cafeteria. Turns out Duke is very interested in Olivia, but this total geek, Malcolm, seems to be making the moves on her. The guys tell Viola that Olivia's just getting out of a bad relationship, and she ends up getting all emotional, and the boys just leave her at the table. Not long after that, she has a dream that she's part of a match between Illyria and Cornwall, and it's brutal and super violent, and she gets asked to play, except she's wearing a debutante dress, so it ends up going very, very badly. She's suddenly woken up by a splash of water, and it turns out the boys in her dorm are carrying out some sort of hazing ritual where all the new kids have to take off their clothes and take shower. Viola is mortified and she manages to escape and then pull the fire alarm to distract everyone. Whew, that was close again. This scene could be wild. After that, she calls her friends and asks for help in upgrading her social status with the boys. So they arrange a couple of her friends to pretend to be Viola's string of ex-lovers, while Duke and the other boys watch in the background. Very good idea. It works, as she manages to put on a great show, even smacking one of the girls in the ass. Out of nowhere, Monique shows up and Viola has to run around for a bit. Then she makes a show of breaking up with Monique, and the boys start respecting her. In this case, him, even more. Actually, she's too cute to be an alpha male, but who cares when you got a game? And what better than a social proof that you got a game, right? Next, she and the boys are in science class, and they get assigned to lab partners. Duke gets assigned to a girl called Eunice Bates, who has an ironclad mouth, so don't even think of anything. And at the same time, she's extremely horny. Long time, no sex, I guess. Viola gets Olivia as her lab partner, much to the jealousy of Duke. She meets up with Olivia and ends up reading some of Sebastian's lyric, fueling the attraction even more. After class, Duke gets her. He decides to help her with soccer practice if she helps him date Olivia. Viola agrees and cue the montage of soccer practice. At some point, Viola gets hit in the balls, which is empty, so there's no pain, but she pretends to be in pain with a delay, which is suspicious and funny. Meanwhile, Malcolm plots to take action on Viola with his pet tarantula. Viola later receives a call from Sebastian, and he tells her that the things went really great in London and he's going to be coming home early. In the next scene, we find her in the science class with Olivia, and she tells her to consider going out with Duke. She also tells Olivia that she is not her type. Ooh, friend zoning a hot chick. You just said the magic word. Olivia feels even more attracted now. Viola meets up with Duke, tells him the good news, and gives him some pointers on how to talk to girls, which result in a joke about cheese, specifically Gouda. Take the note, my dudes. Any random stuff you say doesn't matter. It works with the girls. Just say it confidently. Anyway, suddenly they both notice a tarantula in the room and they both get scared. The tarantula leaves and Viola receives a message from her mother telling her, Sebastian, to come to the carnival, where everyone is going to be, including Duke. Viola starts panicking because she forgot about the carnival and the fact that she has to be her brother and herself at the same time. On the day of the carnival, she goes in as Sebastian and then switches to Olivia to meet up with her mom, who tells her that she's going to be working at the kissing booth. Again, she meets up with Justin. They have a little fight. She runs off and switches to Sebastian in one of the moving rides. She runs into Monique and starts avoiding her again, and her friends manage to hold Monique off. Again, she switches back to Viola and gets to the kissing booth, where she replaces Olivia, who has been kissing dudes recreationally. Duke happens to be on the line, and just when he thought he was finally going to kiss Olivia, Viola replaces her. This dude cannot catch a breath. Poor Channing Tatum. He isn't too happy, and the fact that she looks like her roommate, come on dude, makes it even more weird. That's why I think I cannot date girls who got twin look-alike brother. It's just weird, you know? Anyway, he ends up kissing Viola, and it's at that point that Viola realizes that she's starting to fall for Duke. They are interrupted by Justin again. Come on. Who isn't happy about Duke kissing his girlfriend? It's not even his girlfriend, it's ex-girlfriend. They fight, and Viola tries to separate them as they crash into a bunch of popcorn. The scene cuts to our fake Sebastian meets up with Duke. He tells him that he kissed Viola, and our fake Sebastian tries to superstitiously convince him to go out with Viola. They then have a really deep conversation about girls and relationships, and Viola starts to really fall for Duke. They resume soccer practice, and the coach starts to notice Viola's improvement, or in this case, our fake Sebastian's. Then we cut to the gym, where Viola is just staring at Duke as he bench presses more than her weight. So sexy. The coach comes and tells Viola that she's made it to the team, and she's happy. As Duke congratulates her, she gets drawn into his arm, which freaks him out a bit. That was an electric shock. Meanwhile, Olivia is distraught that Sebastian isn't into her, and her friend convinces her to go out with Duke to make our fake Sebastian jealous. Olivia goes to do just that. She flirts, and jealousy does occur, just not in the way that she hoped. Viola gets jealous that Duke is into Olivia. She tries to sabotage it, and even calls Duke as Viola's voice, but Duke barely pays attention. She meets up with Olivia and tries to sabotage the whole thing again, but it doesn't go so well, and she says that she's going to stop by during their date with someone and do a double date. The date between Olivia and Duke is going terribly, as they don't have anything in common. Viola joins them with Eunice as her date, hilarious, and Olivia decides that she wants to get frisky with Duke to make Viola, or our fake Sebastian, jealous. And Eunice, who is horny as fuck, decides to do the same with Viola. But it freaks Viola out, and Viola leaves the date, and so does Olivia. The scene cuts to the real Sebastian arriving back from London, and this time he's giving Monique a call, telling her that he wants to talk. Then we see Viola arriving at the country club, I guess as a favor to her mom. Olivia is there, and so is Monique. Viola behaves in her not so ladylike fashion, and it's in a rather disturbing way, while she watches Olivia. She later meets up with Olivia in the bathroom. They have a little girl talk, and Olivia starts confessing that she's been using Duke to get to Sebastian. Unknown to her, Monique is in one of the stalls. She jumps out, and all three girls have a huge fight until they get separated by the country club members. Meanwhile, Malcolm has zeroed in on the fact that Sebastian is actually Viola, or at least a girl. He tells the principal, who has a hard time believing, until they overhear a conversation with her and her mom when she says she will not wear heels. Oopsie. Things getting out of hand. The real Sebastian arrives at Illyria, and immediately Olivia rushes in, kisses him, and quotes his lyrics to him and tells him that they should meet during the game. Duke watches them from afar, and poor guy. Viola arrives at her room and finds Duke fuming. He reveals that he knows, and she thinks that he's discovered her secret with the whole soccer thing. He yells at her that it's about Olivia. She obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. Duke kicks her out of the room, and Monique comes to find Sebastian again. Duke tells her she's not here, and he gives her Viola's phone. Monique runs into Malcolm, and they both discover the truth. Our fake Sebastian ends up crashing with Eunice for the night. Looks like Eunice is into hard stuff. Meanwhile, the real Sebastian sleeps in his own bed. On the day of the match, the real Sebastian gets forced to go play a match that he knows nothing about. While Viola sleeps and wakes up late because Eunice was watching her asleep all night. She rushes to a stadium to find Sebastian playing terribly. Wow, that dude should only stick to the music. The match gets interrupted by the principal and he tries to expose Sebastian as a girl. My dude is confused just like everyone else. So what does he do? He goes pants down and shows everyone his Woody. His parents are in the aisle and his dad is going, "That's my boy." The entire crowd is confused because he's obviously a guy. Eunice is excited to see his big Woody and the principal exits in shame and the match continues. Viola meets up with Sebastian and tells him everything. She then switches with him and pleads with the coach to put her in the match, which he does. She meets up with the team and starts to play. While Duke scores an incredible goal, still he refuses to pass to Viola when they had a chance to score. He lost the ball and the opponents used it as a counterattack. He and Viola starts a little argument and things escalate when Justin joins the mix and he and Duke start fighting again, and it turns into an all-out battle between the schools. The officials manage to separate them and then Viola tells Duke that she loves him. Oopsie, that's weird. And then she tells them everything, including her plan to beat Cornwall in a match while disguising herself as Sebastian. Duke doesn't believe her, so what does she do? She shows everyone her boobies. Whew, merciful Jesus. The Illyria coach trusts his girl as much as the boys, so she's in, and she dominates and scores a fantastic goal against Justin, and Illyria wins the match. Sebastian breaks up with Monique for real this time. He also tells his parent that he has been in London for the past 2 weeks. The entire family decides to go to a dinner, and Sebastian meets up with Olivia and they start hitting it off. And Eunice finally gets a boyfriend. Guess she finally found a big black sea to channel all that suppressed sexual energy. But Duke is still mad at Viola. She sends him some Gouda cheese and invites him on a prom date in the country club. At first, it seems like he's not gonna show, but you know Channing Tatum, that dude looks so cool in a suit. So he shows up. Eventually, he and Viola get together, and together they walk down the aisle during the prom. They share a kiss, and Viola is now permanent member of the Illyria boys team. Yes, you heard it right, boys team, and gets clapped almost every match. Thanks for watching, subscribe and come back for more clapping.